She's nice. Have you met her before?
No.
You'll get on with her.
She wants about Adidas, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, no.
Yeah. I forgot, yeah. I didn't even think about that actually, but yeah, she is. But she's like, she's a nice person as well.
Oh, as well. Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you can get some boxers, you know, they're good at what they do, but they're just arrogant.
Yeah.
But she's all right, man. So I'm going to take her aside on this one. And that's good as well, because it's like Matchroom and Sky Sports working together.
Yeah.
Because Alicia's kind of like Matchroom, innit? I don't know if she signed any deals. But anyway, flipping heck, back in Riakporhe.
Yeah.
It's like I always find my way home here with the lovely Richard Riakporhe. Thanks for having me again. You all right?
Thank you. Thanks for having me down the road. Yeah, good.
Before we go any further, I'd like to talk about your reliability. You answering your messages. I just want to know why you take so long to answer your messages, actually.
No, to be fair, with the interviews now, it's only a couple people that I know that actually have, direct contact with me. But apart from that, they always go through my commercial manager. So I'm not really too, and sometimes when I get the messages, I don't, I mean, there's a lot going on, man. So that's why that's a necessity that they come through my manager. But obviously we have to work it out somewhere or another. So
I'll take that as a compliment then. So in other words, shut the fuck up and just I had to get that out of the way. You know what it is? Because I'll make the effort for you, and you don't really see me in gyms really unless there's a fight going on or it's a local gym.
Mm-hmm.
So I will come out my way to speak to you because obviously I like speaking to you. And we're good on camera together. I'm not even going to deny that we get on quite well because we can discuss boxing, and that is why we're here today. Sounds like I'm about to recite the wedding vows. Yeah. Anyway, first things first, your stablemates fighting on the weekends. The rematch, Usyk, Joshua 2. To be fair, like I said, I thought you'd be there. Do you know what I mean? Showing that support, but
I always support, AJ, and you could tell, when I'm on the scene myself and focusing on my fight, I would always have to support AJ. That's the only right thing to do. Support your stablemates, and obviously I'll be there supporting your spirit.
Yeah. How has it been going in the camp? Obviously, I know you can't obviously talk about sparring and whatnot. I mean, I've been here once, I think myself, when he's been in the gym, or twice actually. Once when I think you jetted off after you got your win. How's it been going in camp?
So we done the early part of camp whilst I was there, and then after that, got into the thick of things inside. But speaking to Angel, he's been telling me some good stuff. He's really pleased with him. Feels like he's in a great space mentally. He's been working, he's been doing around, he's very fit. And from what I saw of him when he was here, he was on point, but very spiteful, vicious, and he's hitting hard. He's hitting very, very hard, knocking people out, sparring and everything. And a lot of people probably have written him off for this fight. The reality is it's heavyweight and it just takes one punch.
You, obviously, cruiserweight. Usyk was a cruiserweight that was in your division. Your words then, a fighter that understands boxing as well. You're not just a heavy puncher. You're someone that can box. His style and what makes it so awkward, or going back to the first fight, what made it so awkward for AJ?
Boxed the wrong game plan. He tried to box him, tried to outbox him. That was a completely wrong game plan. Usyk was faster. He was more agile. He was he knew, man. It's a big issue. But even in that fight, he didn't even knew him. He was just very agile, slippery, and throwing a lot of counter punches and finishing strong, starting strong. He had a lot to do with. He had a lot to do with that fight. But he tried to box him, and that was the problem. That was the issue. You shouldn't try to box a boxer.
Yeah.
Just like hooking with a hooker.
Okay.
It's just those rules. Just you have to do the opposite. You have to find other ways of beating these fighters, and sometimes it may be an ego thing.
Okay,
Who
talk to me
knows?
about that.
Who knows? I don't know, but because I'm so competitive, I my ego would make me want to beat you at your own game. So if you are a brawler, I'll beat you by brawling with you and winning that brawl. But it's also silly
Okay.
because you can be a bit more intelligent and let your ego go and do what you need to do to win the fight in the end. But I think that's just growing up with a bunch of boys, other brothers, and being able to win and win in the way you want to win and laugh when laugh at the person you beat.
How do you do that? Like when you're in the ring, though, like you said, when your ego can kick in, but you got to be careful that you don't get caught slipping. How do you? To me, like there's so much going on when you're in there. Punches are being thrown. You're obviously trying to read your opponents, and then you've got this, like you said, this like inner voice that's saying, "You aren't going to beat me. I'm going to make sure I do." How do you then like control that and say, "Come on, we've got to start being sensible here," because there's so many things going on when you're in that fight. No doubt, like I'm saying this because like AJ's going to be having flashbacks. Well, I don't know, flashbacks to fight number one. There's all sorts. So how is he then going to have to like calm that and still be able to outthink his opponent, or to be able to beat him up, to be able to show that spite?
That's discipline. It goes down to
Okay.
discipline. It goes down to trusting in the game plan, trusting your coach,
Yeah.
trusting that it would work out. And even though it may not be working out for like 6 rounds of fight, just have to keep on doing it, keep on doing it, and eventually, him he should see signs that it's working. Um, it's a difficult thing to do, to be honest, because most people always resort back to what they know, and that's the problem. If things aren't going well, you do
You revert to
what
type.
you do, and then that's what some people just know how to fight, and when they fight, they don't think clever, and they'll just lose, and lose some more. Sometimes you have to believe and continue doing what you need to do. It's just like jumping the ring and someone said, well, your jab is amazing, just keep on jabbing. But instead, you want to throw some big bombs and hooks, and you don't understand the effects of that jab, landing that jab throughout the fight. It's only until you see it, you believe it. Sometimes and there's going to be times where you probably haven't seen it before, but you need to just believe in it, even though you haven't seen it. It's just like jump. It's just like being on a ship and someone saying, "Listen, up north, there's this beautiful island, and there's nobody there. You know, white sand, it's yours. You just have to get there. But you're not going to see it for 95% of the way. You know what I mean? You're going to see it in the horizon when you're right close. But it's the faith, that you have to just do it and believe it's going to work.
That makes sense actually. So it's having that blind faith to come back in the corner
Yeah,
and like listen to everything that your coach is saying and just trust the process. So that's like patience as well, because like you said, it could take 5 or 6 rounds for it to start to work. But
yeah,
if you haven't got that patience, by round four, you're coming back in, you're frustrated because they're still getting the better of you at that point.
absolutely. But the issue with that is most fighters don't have patience.
Mm.
That's the issue. A lot of fighters, I'd probably say 95% of fighters don't have patience. They wouldn't be able to do that. So that's why there's only a few people in the elite part of boxing. Everybody else is just under them.
Mm. How do you think that he's ready to go into this fight? Do you think, I don't know, you're like I said, I can look at it because I know that you're quite, I don't know, you're quite naturally spiteful with your punches. You're a power puncher as well, but we can see that the developments come on with the boxing. Taking the rematch is something that, he did the same thing with Andy Ruiz. He'd done the same thing with Alexander Usyk. Do you think that's the best thing for him to do, to literally just go in there and, believe that he can right that wrong?
Absolutely. I think if he took another angle and tried something different, it would have probably been more detrimental to him as a fighter, his belief um, in him being a champion. If he didn't take that rematch, he would never be the same again. That's the reality. Sometimes you have to just jump in there and even though the odds are stacked up against you. It's what makes you you, you being a fighter. You know, you say you're a throwback fighter, so this is what throwback fighters do. And if you don't do it, then you'll probably be confused about your identity, and that's that's worse than anything. It doesn't matter how much money you're getting paid. You know, that's when you have to really make decisions where, you know, if things don't work out in the next fight, listen, I'll leave this sport alone before you get like seriously hurt.
Yeah, that's to be fair, that's a good point. But how do you then find that motivation to get up in the morning and do those runs? You know, come in and do the training that you do in boxing. For how many weeks? You know, you live in the gym, so you live the life. When your bank account is stacked, you haven't even got to worry about working. Your children haven't got to worry about working. How do you find that motivation to say, you know what, I still want to do this? Because that's one of the questions that I asked him at the presser. I'm asking this on behalf of the fans. How much do you want this? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that when, you know, your doll's stacked and you still got to get up and train because this is your chosen career?
Yeah, I find that flipping. That's probably one of the most difficult things ever. How can you find you know, the deep will to hold your will in somebody that's trying to make something for the family, just trying to change their life? And you will know, you know, once you're in build up, you find out about the background, how they live, what they have, and you know, some people just want it more. It's hard to want it more when you've already achieved everything. It's how. That's why I respect him. Me personally, I can't sit here and lie to you and say 100% I'm gonna be in the gym. If I had, you know, X amount of money in the bank, 100% I'm gonna be here training. You know, that would be a lie because I haven't been through that before. I would have to go through that and
Mm.
see. And the moment I feel it within me that this is it's not there no more, I have to be honest with myself or get myself hurt. It's one thing, you know, one thing or the other.
I look at it, it's like I look at it similar because I'm not someone that's sitting on a wedge. You know, I'm someone on the come up. You know, doing what I do for the love of it. The day that the cash starts to roll into my account and then, you know, I'm automatically getting accepted to all fights, well then will I start saying, oh, I don't want to go to that one. Oh, there's, you know, there's that not the main fighters. Is that going to happen to me? And that's a lot of the times why I ask you these questions, because even though you guys are fighting in the ring, it's still a career. Yeah. Fair enough. It's a completely different career as mine, but
Mm.
both can make a lot of money from. So it's like having that drive. I'm asking you because I might get the same feeling in a few years' time when I start to stack up the paper. And then where's my hunger gone? You know, when I'm looking outside and I'm looking at my my R1 and my
I want.
yeah, I'm looking at all my cars and I'm looking at all of this. Will that hunger still be there to get up and go into the gyms and speak to the fighters? So I'm saying, does money change that?
100% money does change it. That's facts. And it's not just the money though,
Mm,
because money, once you get money, sometimes it becomes a norm after a while. You know, you
okay.
might get excited for the first bit, but then that becomes normal, and then you meet other people that got more money. So then, you know, you just change your mindset and you continue doing what you're doing. But the issue is when you've accomplished
Yeah.
certain goals, when you accomplish one goal, when you accomplish another goal, everything you dreamed of, you accomplish, and then you got money on top of that. It's very difficult to. What's the next goal after that? Because if you don't create another goal, then you can say you're failing already. You know, because it's on to the next. After done this, okay, now this is the next goal. This is the next mission. And that's what keeps you from, you know, sabotaging yourself or making, you know, bad decisions. But you know, if you do the opposite, then you'll be cool. It's difficult, very difficult.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. You know, obviously we wanted to win on Saturday. Everyone's the thing is what gets to me is everyone saying, yeah, yeah, you know, he can win, but nobody's really saying that he will win. And that's I don't know, that doubt is there that, you know, Usyk's just gonna outsmart him again, or, you know, you've seen what's been happening on the media. Usyk's like this, almost like the second coming of Christ. He's like,
Hmm.
look at the size of him, you know, the camera angles, and he looks so big, and he's this and he's that. And then the show AJ's video is like, yeah, he's gonna get smashed again. You as a boxer, um, water off a duck's back for you. I know you kind of like, yeah, whatever. But what about a fighter that reads the comments, a fighter that looks into everything, a fighter that thinks, oh my gosh, look at what they're saying at me. They all love me 1 minute and now they hate me the next. Your thoughts on that? Because not everyone's like you.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody's different. You know, me, like if you if you meet, you know, people around me, I'm a nice person, lovely person, but at the same time I've got like a cold, very cold side. You know, people who would say that I'm just come across really cold, but I don't care about when people comment and stuff. And in fact, it's good because you need the public opinion anyway. But a lot of fighters are very sensitive, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very, very sensitive.
Why is that? What is it?
I don't know. Maybe they really value what someone thinks of them. You know, I don't know. It's weird, but that's how people can get really hyped up and lead a fan. The next thing, go and get themselves really hurt because they believe that they were the biggest thing since sliced bread, but then they jump in the ring and it's something different. They go against the real deal of Holyfield. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
The four corners of
yeah,
truth.
it's a weird one. I think it comes probably from upbringing as well. Some people
Talk to me
have
about that.
abandonment
Yeah.
issues. We don't know half of the stories of the fighters and what they've been through in their lives. You know, they fell out with their misses and girlfriends, and they didn't want them back and stuff like that. They want that type of love from somewhere else. And where they're gonna find it?
Displacement.
You know, maybe they don't have no mother or father. Maybe they passed. And you know, when you get the fans showing you the love, it's like the the closest replacement. You know, wow, these people love me. You know, I'm putting on for my city.
Mm.
But then you lose, then nobody cares about you. People, in fact, the same people that said they love you, they're slandering you to other people. That could be crazy for that could be really detrimental to somebody's mind, especially that really cares about this. You know what they think. So, but I can only speak for myself. We People don't know where I'm coming from. If they knew, then they would understand why I'm the way I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've been through a lot to get to this point now.
Yeah. Now it's a good point because I've often thought like because obviously you're the center of attention, aren't you? You're walking out, it all eyes on you. You get in that ring, you knock people out, you hurt them, you
Hmm.
put on those shows. You are like the king at that point when you hear the crowd and it's roaring and it's cheering and you're looking on Twitter and your name's trending and all of that social media thing, you know, where all eyes are on you. And then you lose. And then just like that, oh, I knew he was rubbish. Oh, I never really rated him anyway. Oh, he's washed. Oh, a man should retire when you've lost like one fight. And it's just, it's crazy. Like what do they call it? The court of public opinion,
Yeah,
where they're just all there to judge you. And it's crazy.
yeah. It's the way the world is. It's crazy. What can you do about it? It's always gonna happen. It's been happening from a very long time ago, and I think now it's even worse now because of social media. People got voice, people got platforms, but when you see them in the streets, they're like
Oh my
nobody,
days.
but they got the social media on lock.
It is true.
Yeah.
I get loads of people like coming in the comments, like, say, for example, I compliment a fighter or whatever. I'm doing exactly the same thing that every other blogger's doing in the comments. But I'll get people that will come directly to me to like go for me. And it's weird. It's like, hold on, I've just said more or less what somebody else has said, but you're coming in the comments for me. And usually it's these faceless ghost accounts or whatever. But sometimes I feel like even as a woman in the boxing industry, in the media side of it, there's still a lot of like misogyny, like you shouldn't be here. So I'm going to attack you because I see you like a weak link. I don't know. Fair enough. Maybe I'm the first person to tell you this, but just looking at it from a different perspective again.
Interesting. And I can imagine, the things that you go through because being a female in a dominated field that's already a big um, a big challenge. but I feel like it's meant for you the way you are. I feel like you're a fighter yourself. So this is nothing.
True. It's names on a keyboard, and like you said, they see you in the street, and they're probably the same people in the street. Oh yeah, you're good. Meanwhile, they're under that fake
Yeah.
name.
To be honest, I get some messages here and there, and if
Yeah,
I'm bored, yeah, I'll reply. I'll reply to it, and you know, I would actually laugh if they're dissing me. I'd laugh with it if I find it funny. I'll
yeah,
actually like laugh, and they will be shocked because they probably thought I would be offended,
yeah.
and then they'll message saying, "Oh, I love your last fight. I love the way you are."
Weird.
They just probably wanted a bit of attention. They didn't think
Yeah.
I'd give it to them.
No, it's the same. I've had that on YouTube where somebody's like, oh, they've said something, and then I've like said, yeah, fair enough, you got me there. And they went, oh, I feel bad for saying that now.
Yeah.
Well, why did you say it then? But it's cool because I don't mind. The banter's cool. It's when it gets a bit malicious. I'm like, oh, go away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you're going to get that a lot. So we're going to move on to you. Um, I want to know when you fight. I'm here in October.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
don't
see.
let it be October the 8th, please.
No, it won't be. But we're trying to finalize some. The team is having meetings now,
Hmm.
trying to get a big fight lined up. So we're just waiting. I don't want to say too much.
Fair enough.
It's really early, and it's dependent on a lot of other variables.
Okay.
We'll see, but we're aiming for like November, by
November.
end of October.
Okay, that's all right then. Do you think it'll be the usual spot?
Mm, Maybe.
Maybe. It's all right. You know me, I like to get the hotels early for they put them
Smart.
crazy prices through the roof. So I know we can't necessarily discuss about you, but then we'll move on to the cruiserweight division then. There's all sorts. Well, I spoke to 258 the other day. I spoke to KD, David Ganser, and Will Harvey.
Yeah.
And I asked them about what fighters were with them, etc. And they said that Lawrence Okoli is no longer with them. He's no longer with 258. And then there's obviously been some rumours bubbling. I'm not asking you to comment on the rumours, whether he's coming to Sky or not, but he's supposed to be going to Sky Sports Boxer. Lawrence Okoli and you, in my opinion, is a good domestic fight. I mean, what are your thoughts on if he is coming to Sky and possibly building a fight with you two?
Yeah, it's good. It will be easier to meet under the same promotional banner,
Yeah,
and to fight William, then it's easy peasy. Just the only thing is just the business side of it to do with it, the monetary side. But yeah, that'll be good. Great fight, but from what I heard, there's a lot of things that he's going through.
yeah.
He's going through a lot of stuff, and it's gonna take a minute before it's all done and dusted. That's probably the reason why you don't really hear his name too much. Yeah, it's just a lot going on. It's obviously not my business to comment on.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't do any like kind of like gossip and stuff, but when you say there's hold on, let me just check that. So I don't want this camera to go up. The only reason why I ask about him, it's kind of like similar, where like you guys had, um, when you're with, hold on, 25 minutes. When you've obviously come out of management contracts yourself,
Yeah.
you know how it goes. When you're a professional fighter, how does it go when it comes to like management and making sure that it's best for you as well? Obviously, the management team have got to benefit. We understand that everyone's here to eat. But how did you then say, you know what, okay, this is what I want now. I've got my fingers burnt. This isn't for me, or I want to set up myself. What are valuable things that you learned in your journey? Because remember, you was out for what, 20? How long was it?
20 something months.
Yeah,
Maybe 22.
yeah,
For sure. But I feel when it comes to the business side of things, it's just nobody. I don't feel like anybody else is going to be as passionate about your own business than yourself, your own career. So it was a no-brainer for me to take charge of my own business, something that I'm passionate about, something that I cared about the most, instead of leaving it to a bunch of people that I met for a very short period in my life, and they are also juggling it with other boxes.
Right.
So already,
You're not a priority,
you're
are
not
you?
a priority. Maybe if you are a priority, there's a percentage of attention going to each and other fighters, because obviously they want to make money from those fighters also.
Yeah.
So it was a no-brainer for me to take charge of that and control that narrative. Once I did that, my career just elevated, exponentially. Just didn't stop going. Like, and it just shows sometimes you have to do that. And then it's all about, everybody is different. That's what I realized. Everybody's different. Some people don't have the capacity to, or the time or the energy. They don't want to be involved in stuff like that. They just all they want to do is focus on boxing. I can completely understand that. But with me, I like to know the business. I like to know what happens there behind this door. It's not just about boxing. I'm very curious. I'm a very curious person. I want to know everything that's going on in the whole top to bottom, even on the broadcasting side, even. But not everybody's as curious as me. Not everybody has the energy to do that. It takes a lot of energy as well, and time, which also can be taken away from the time and energy you need to dedicate to actually studying your craft and to box and get the wins. So it all depends. It could be really good for some people, and it could be really bad for some people to take charge in that way. But
Now that kind of, yeah, it makes sense though,
yeah.
to have that curious nature, but then it's like you said, it goes back down to discipline, discipline, priorities, being able to organize
Yeah.
what you're doing. Like all of this is basic stuff because, like you said, it's going to take a lot. If you're thinking about training, you're thinking about opponents, etc. Why would you be concerned with, the management side? Because they're supposed to look after that.
Exactly.
You're supposed to put, almost like that blind faith again, what you were saying when you're coming back into the coach and the coach is saying, look, it's that blind faith again. But then what happens when that coach, as it were, the management, haven't got your best interests at heart and they know that you're distracted with your training, with your fights, with your opponents, and then you can be there, you're getting there siphoned off. Or what? It's just like pure madness.
Exactly. And that's what happens all the time with some of the contracts that I'm hearing in America.
Serious.
Some of my friends that are lawyers that are actually trying to help people, it is ridiculous. People getting robbed left, right, and center. Them guys, they actually don't have no morals whatsoever. They don't give a damn. It's all about, making it, making a contract in their favor, in the manager's favors and stuff like that. And I don't know how they can even go to sleep. Well, if they haven't boxed before, they don't know what it takes to train and get ready. Why would they care? They just see it as business. But I just feel once you tarnish your name, it's very difficult to build it back up. So I don't think it's worth it, especially for a little bit of money. Maybe they've never had money before, so maybe that little bit of money is a large amount. So they don't mind, the consequences that will come for doing that, playing that game. But you should own.
I was about to say because I'm hearing some, like I said, it's all rumors. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but say for the likes of young Daniel Dubois, I'm hearing that he still hasn't been paid for his fight, and it's crazy. But then you're thinking, okay, but your management team need to grab hold of that, grab it, and like get that sorted. But then it doesn't seem like that's happening. And young Daniel's flown out there and whatever and won the fight fair and square. But where's his dog?
Yeah, it's madness. It's madness. I even heard some fighters in the States. Obviously, I won't disclose it.
Yeah.
Whoever told me, but they're headlining shows and getting paid, maybe $15,000.
You're joking.
Yeah, and they're in contracts where once they win, it automatically extends. They got them in like a 5-year, 4-year contract. It's crazy.
So you think about it, over here we got it kind of lucky then.
No, people got some bad contracts, and some people just don't talk about it. Even to the point where they're telling the guy, if you can do something to these guys, then do it. there's no,
Yeah.
there's not even like ways to get out of the contract.
They've literally
Yeah,
nailed it
literally,
all.
yeah,
Okay.
they closed it. So it's that's what happens. And a lot of fighters, older fighters as well,
Yeah.
have stories of how they were mistreated. I had to take things into my own hands. Once I did that, everything went absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. You can't
So,
you can't make people control your career
yeah.
when they can't even manage their house, they can't even manage themselves, their families, their kids, nothing. How can you even trust people?
Yeah,
It's
you know
crazy.
what? It's true. It's like if you got kids and you take them to a childminder's house, and the childminder's house is all over the place. The kids, their own children are dirty. The house is dirty. Why are you going to take your kids there? And that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
No, but people do though, because they've say, look, you're going to get this money. You're going to be a big star, and all of this. And this is the glitz and the glamour that comes with boxing that I don't think people really take seriously. Because like the fighters that are on the small hall shows, I'm still hearing that some of them are walking away with 50 quid because they're still having to obviously sell the tickets and whatever. And you have to rate them, because if they didn't love boxing, there's no way they'd be doing it. The journeymen are getting paid, that they're fighting to build their profile. They're getting paid more than them.
Yeah,
Not
100%. That was me once upon a time. I was leaving the, it was like £200,
Oh
150.
my days.
Yeah, it was tough. But
How did you
I
carry
love
on though?
it was pure passion, pure passion for the sport. I loved it. I didn't think about the money. I
Damn.
just needed to survive. Big shouts out to Mo Pryor. Mo Pryor used to give me £500 a month, so I can stay in the gym. £500 a month. It helped me a lot, seriously. Then I could like literally just focus on training. If I didn't get that £500, imagine what I'd have been doing. It's madness.
Then again, you could have been doing some more like music in it, because
But it's things have
you know what I
changed.
mean. You know what I mean.
Things have
Yeah, yeah,
changed.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
obviously now with the music,
Yeah,
like
it's
they do
popping.
the DSP, digital streaming platforms, and you can get you can get monetary benefits. But back then,
Yeah, I know.
it's
Straight
completely
hustle. Yeah,
different. Different.
flipping there.
So
But like you said, the love of it, you stayed through it. You got through what you went through. Management. Who are you managed by?
I manage myself now. What's that?
Okay.
Boxing.
Yeah.
I manage myself. Well, I got a commercial manager, and I got other people behind the scenes that help with the logistics side of things and stuff like that. Yeah. So I got some good people around me that help me.
That you can like trust
Yeah,
to be able to
trust it.
handle the affairs,
Different
etc.
things. Yeah,
How long does it take to build that back up though? Because like you said,
a long time.
yeah,
Because with me, it builds from trust. If I can't trust you, I can't work with you.
facts.
So I have to really be selective. But my team is amazing now.
Okay.
We're building and improving.
What is then? I'll ask you then. What is like a red flag for you? Something that maybe you should have spotted earlier in boxing when it comes to like the management side and the promotional side, or whatever it is. What was a red flag that is blatantly obvious now that, like you said, you're curious and you study it and you want to know how everything works, but you didn't clock at the time? And the only reason why I'm asking that, there's going to be a young blood out there that's probably going to be walking in those same footsteps. What's a red flag in boxing that you need to like know is a red flag, but it's not obvious?
One that's really simple, people telling you to take fights for a little bit of money, with no vision, no plan for you. That's a red flag. And also people that don't have no vision for you, like let's just say, um, there's no plan for you to get to, let's say, a British title or English title, move up. If there's no plans in place, you need to be asking them, how are we gonna get there? Like in how many fights, 3 fights, 4 fights, and they can talk a good game, but then it's also action. You can't just believe in what people say. You have to see, judge them by their actions as well. So they're doing it and they're saying it, and then excellent. But if saying it and not doing it, because everybody can talk a very good
Oh,
game.
trust me.
That's the thing about the industry. You know, some people are amazing when they speak, believe everything they say. Once they get you to sign, you know, they change. You know, they change their behavior towards you. So, you know, that's some of the things that you have to consider, 100%. And also, you know, you want to check their track record,
Okay.
because you know that's their CV. You know, if they say they can deliver this and they deliver this for X amount of fights, more times out of 10, they probably can help you in the same way, or to a decent extent.
No, I like that. That's clever. It's true. Check, yeah, check the history, the dating history. What does it look like? What's the track record?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So then, cruiserweight division. Obviously, we spoke about yourself and Lawrence. When Lawrence sorts his bits out and he gets back in focus, it's a fight for you, pair, for the future. A fight that I'd really like to see as well. Mixed reviews from the public, but I don't care. I'm just talking about it from my point of view. I'd like to see it. So the cruiserweight division, obviously we have Bradis. So I'm just going to try and get up box rec actually. We had Bradis and Opatea. What are your thoughts on that?
Good fight, very good fight. Riakporhe did really well. I've known about him from some years back now,
Yeah.
and actually was even trying to sort a fight with him. He was quite high in the IBF. Yeah, he's a southpaw, and he liked to stand there and fight and trade. He wasn't shy to do that. So yeah, I thought he'll be a decent contender. But you know, it was early. We didn't know what he would do, but he did really well in that fight. Marius Breedis, his legs were really slow. You know, it was easy for him to just bounce. He was like bouncing all the way through like an amateur.
Yeah.
And he was landing these shots first, hitting with some good shots, clean shots. So 100% he won that fight. And you could probably see, you know, signs though in Breedis. There's, you know, him dressing up like Mario, coming on
That's
stage,
madness.
promote.
Yeah.
He's trying to promote a fight with Corey. Didn't finalize that. Wasn't interested. Then he's trying to call out Jake Paul, making rap videos. There's simple signs that he's trying to get a payday and he's trying to exit the building, because he knows the real hungry fight is coming up. You know, and you know, he saw the midnight change. But
mow him down.
But yeah, it's it is what it is. He's older. You know, he's older. He's done what he needed to do.
Yeah.
You know, that's what he wants to do. Then that's him.
So looking at the rankings, then he's at number 1. Obviously, he's out of the play because obviously Riakporhe. I mean, because obviously the jaw break. He's still at number 2. But we'll see what happens with him. Makabu is the one that I've always fancied you going in against, but whatever you said, we'll see. We've got obviously Lawrence Okoli up there, and these are world rankings. We've got, is it Machunin? Yeah, I'm not really good at pronunciations. Dorticos, I'm hearing good things about that one as well. We go down, Kovalev, etc., etc. Badu Jack, who's fighting on this card coming up as well. We've got Glowacki. Willem Smith's above you. I don't understand box rec.
Box rec is not really it's not really deemed as a credible ranking system. So most people go to the.
Come on then, tell me.
Most people go to the, you know what's really good? Boxing News that do a good ranking. They do
Boxing News.
Yeah, Boxing News, they do a good ranking. Obviously Ring Magazine as well.
All right,
you know, and then there's obviously some organizations that are really credible.
Is that it? Boxing News.
It's good, yeah. Because they really check. You know, they do the study and finding out the CV, the former opponents that you fought. You know, they'll give their honest opinion, but there's a lot of more credible sources than box rec.
I was about to say
more information.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's what people use.
Okay. What did you think of that Willem Smith and Isaac Chamberlain then last week? Not last week, a couple of weeks ago down in sunny Bournemouth.
It was good. I watched it. It was a very good fight. You know, and it was good advertising for the cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
Isaac fought him, you know, toe to toe pretty much. You know,
trust me.
Not moving. You know, normally I'd see him move, but for that fight he didn't move. Just like standing in front, just trying to, you know, impose his will on him. It was really good, really good. Really, I enjoyed it. But I feel like Isaac just fought fought the wrong game. He probably could
Okay.
have fought. He probably would have performed better if he, moved around, tried to box and stuff like that. He got into,
Villains
Dylan
fight.
Smith's fight.
He did it with Tommy McCarthy. He
Yeah,
did the
yeah,
same.
yeah. Same
He
thing.
pulls you into his fight.
He
He's
does.
clever.
He obviously he's big as well. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He's bigger than Isaac. Isaac's looked like the weight class below. It's crazy. It's like easily pushing him to the ropes to do the work. He loves to get on your chest.
Yes.
He was even doing that with me as well. Trying to come forward,
Yeah.
put his, but it's hard if you haven't had the experience to deal with a opponent like that. It's hard to fight them back. And most people, they don't use their brains. They just fight off instinct. So if this guy hits me, I'm gonna hit him back. You know what I mean? I'm gonna hit him back.
Yeah.
Before you know, 10 seconds into it, you're doing exactly what he wants you to do, which is fight him in mid to close range battle, and he's getting off extra 2 shots. Of course, he's winning the exchange. He's gonna be looking like he's winning as well to the judges, so they're gonna give it to him. So, but the thing is, what was interesting is, Isaac was still landing some good shots. He was hurt a couple times.
Yeah, you saw him when he was walking, because he was walking back into the corner where I could see.
Yeah.
And he was proper breathing heavy.
Exactly. And if, let's just say, if Isaac had the power that I had and he was hitting him with them shots, that fight, he would have probably knocked him out. Yeah, he would have knocked him out. And, in any of those exchanges that he had, even from the second round, which is one thing about Billy Smith, he's there to get hit. He's there to take a counter shot. He's 100%. There. You know what I mean? And there's some people that you just can't afford to take a shot clean from them, even partial. It'll be the beginning of the end of anything. So, but it is what it is. Isaac is good. He suffered some injuries as well, and they both lived on. CBS is doing well. Is what is great for the division.
I think he was saying, well, I don't know if it's him or Sky Sports are saying that they'd like to see you pair fight again. But what do you see is in regards to career progression and where you both are?
Yeah, that fight could be made down the line if the or what's or something. So if
Richard, the midnight train can knock out man for job, but don't let no creepy crawlies come near him.
Hell no. So yeah, if the financial element is right, 100% that fight can be made, 100% in the future. But I've already got my mission. I know where I want to go. I've beat him already. And I wasn't even that great compared. You know what I mean? To compare, I didn't have the boxing IQ there, but I still beat him there, and he's had so much experience as well, even at that point there. So I know, like now, I'll definitely. I'll definitely clean them out. That's my honest opinion. That's not me trying to boast and stuff like that.
You went like that.
So it's just one of the ones I want to accomplish what I want to accomplish, and when I do, then we can discuss that. We just have to. It's all about making the right decision for my career progression. It's great for the fans, but it's a selfish sport. I need to do what's good for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you want the belts, don't you?
Exactly.
When you say that, like, you want the belts, would you want to, like, all of them? Would you want to unify and then move up?
I want to move for the heavyweight division. That's what I want to do.
Oh, that's you. But are you going to try and claim as many, or are you going to just get one? And
I'll try to claim everything.
Okay.
But if it's just, it gets really political, as you know, if it gets really political, I'm not going to stand there and wait. You know what I mean? For a year, 2 years, just hovering around. I'm keeping it moving. I'm going to heavyweight. The rest of them can keep it, but I don't care. Let's go mix with the big boys. You know what I'm saying? I know I'll do well that way. Sure.
Yeah, we can touch on that, but I want to touch on before we move up to that, because until you British guys started to show out the cruiserweight division for what it was, my eyes were always on the heavyweights.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you're going to be moving up to that, but because of the guys like you in the division, you started to make me look at the cruiserweights and then the light heavyweights, the cruiserweights, because to me those are it's going to sound kind of fucked up that I'm saying this, but the cruiserweights and the light heavyweights domestically, for me personally, are more exciting to watch. But that's just I don't know. Maybe that's just I don't know.
I feel the same, especially when you get to It reminds me of them old school heavyweights back in the days, like Ken Norton, Muhammad Ali, what's his name? You know, not really well, but what's that guy from Herbie Hyde?
Yeah.
You know, all these guys, they're like 210 pounds, 205 pounds, but they're small, but they can bang. You know what I mean? They can bang, they can move around, they can take a shot. You know, it could be coming back to those days. You know, it could be, because I definitely fit in that in that in that shape or that field, if you would.
Yeah.
100%. This nice 210 pounds, 215, 20 pound, but small, but very powerful and very agile, athletic, can move around, not plodding around.
Yeah, you
fast.
Yeah, you're light on
That's
your feet.
dangerous. You know, it's dangerous when you're going against like smaller fighters that are fast and they can hit hard. It's the worst. That is the worst thing
Trust
ever.
me. No, I can believe it.
To try to deal with.
I can believe it. It's like a
speed up.
wasp, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
trying to spot a fly.
They're hitting you 3 times, 4 times, but powerful shots. You know, it's tough, man. It's tough.
So another fight. Have you fought Dusar? Dusar?
Dusar?
No.
Ducar?
Yeah.
No, I haven't fought him.
You didn't?
I haven't fought him. No.
Did you watch his fight?
He fought
Jordan Thompson.
Yeah.
What did you think of that fight? Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it, but I saw some of the highlights on Twitter. You know, to be honest, when the fight was made, I thought,
tough.
They're stepping up a lot. Like,
Serious?
Yeah. You know what it is? I think a lot of people see, you know, fighters like myself and stuff, and it made you think, you know, I'm ambitious. Then obviously the fans are like, no, you beat Richard Riakporhe. I think you'll take them. I think you'll take CBS. I think you'll take a goalie. Okay. Then they step up, and then you think they don't understand
the levels.
They don't know the levels because they've never been there before. They never experienced it, and it's only until they jump in the ring when a man, you know, you're stepping up from a journeyman to somebody that's like that solid fighter. And just remember, we know the division. That's the difference between, you know, me, myself, and Africa. I've been watching these guys for years. I knew about Riakporhe, all these other fighters there, Ducar, all these guys from Poland and stuff, and what they're capable of, how dangerous they are, how hard they. I know everything about them because I got people in their gyms. So when I know about the level, so you know when you want to step up from journeyman to some of these guys, man, and you're hitting them and they're not going down, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen if you're not used to it? It's gonna be a tough night, and especially if they're hitting hard back. So I wasn't surprised when I saw, you know, Jordan like you know, on the canvas and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. And to be honest, I don't know with Jordan. Jordan's a cool guy though.
Yeah.
I think he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But, I think, you know, he's got an interesting story. I think he was a journeyman first, I heard, and then they said he's really good, and then they said
he's a white collar fighter. Yeah. I didn't know he was a journeyman.
That's what I heard. That's what I'm not too sure. Don't quote me, but apparently he came to the game wanted to just make money, you know, just didn't really care. And then they said, you know what, you tell it, let's go for it. But in my mind, I just feel like I can never be like that. I've always been a winner, you know, in my mind. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted to win. I can't just come in there and compete for money. Now I want to be like number one. So that's already gonna be, if that's true, then that's gonna affect him every time you step to us. Always gonna affect you because you're gonna get back into that mentality if it gets really, really tough. Then no, you just get just keep myself safe, you know.
Yeah.
Take not too much risks.
I think, yeah, Jesus Christ. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Richard.
What's that?
How on fuck me? Yes, yeah, so I got to keep checking the time. I need to sort the settings out on there. It just automatically defaults to 25 minutes, innit? I think with Jordan, I think he started off as a white collar fighter, but then I think obviously, yeah, like you said, somebody said he was good and whatever. But I think he's in it because he's got ambition as well. I wouldn't say he's in it for the dough. I think he wants to, you know, achieve stuff as well. Because I've spoken to him a couple of times, and he is ambitious. But obviously, if you're in the same division, the names are going to get called and start getting mixed up with each other. But like you said, and there's when you start putting yourself against the tests.
It's gonna show. Trust me, you're gonna find out who's who. You know, just the you know what they call it, the square circle of truth. You
Okay.
can find out a lot about your character. You know, when you're in there when times are hard. So, but you know, I like him. He's got nice style. He's tall, range. He's got big punching power. And yeah, man, there's other good fights as well in and around. But that was kind of like from seeing that, it kind of showed the levels. You know,
Okay.
how far can he go, or if he steps up again, or steps up to another, even like domestic level type of fighters as well, or other fighters in the domestics level, you know, that can punch hard. How is he going to deal with that? Even like someone like Mikhail Lawal, how would he deal with getting taking a shot? You know, because it's all good outboxing, but you will get hit, 100%. You will definitely get hit in 12 rounds of fight.
Yeah.
And how would you deal with it? You know, so it's interesting. I think it's interesting, and I think it's good. I think this cruiserweight division is good because you can't write men off. You can't write them off just because of one um, loss, or if they've had a hard time in the fight. They got the will and ambition, and
they'll push through.
Yeah, 100%. They'll come through. They'll have a bad fight and they'll have a good fight next. It's happened to me.
Yeah, you always, when you go into those, I remember there was a couple of fights and I thought, Jesus Christ, he is in deep here. But like I said, that venom, that pain, whatever it is that you've got in you comes out, and you always end up winning. And I think you can't teach that in boxing. That's that, you know, that heart.
There's levels to it. That's all it is. That's the thing about boxing.
Yes.
Things might look easy on the outside, but it's only until you get in there. There's a lot of things that you wouldn't understand until you actually experience it. Some levels of boxing IQ, what people are doing, how they break you down.
Okay.
There's so much to, you know what I mean, that you wouldn't just understand until you jump in. That's why they say, don't go for this guy. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Hold
Stay away
horses.
from here.
Yeah.
I know you're ambitious, you want to be a champion and stuff, but hey, there's procedure to this. You get too ambitious, you know, can potentially break you completely mentally as a fighter. You know, that's a reality of it.
It's a different way to look at it, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. That's why people step up and they never come back ever. Ever.
Yeah. Would you ever get into like, you know, when the doors are closed for you and you've achieved all what you want to achieve? Would you ever get into like the management? Do you think you'll stay in boxing?
Nah, I'm definitely not doing no management.
Nah. Would you coach?
I'll help people though. I'll help, you know, people out if people want advice and stuff like that. Yeah, management is not me.
What about coaching?
I got my own life to manage.
Oh yeah, because you're too busy taking pictures with Kanye West and Naomi Campbell to give a shit about anything else. I'm thinking this geezer.
I'm about to start recording my new album. So
you know what?
My representation now. You know what I'm saying? People don't know.
What, featuring Yeezy?
No.
Imagine. What was he like?
It's cool, man. Cool guy, nice guy. You know, the media makes it.
I know that.
Makes it out to seem like he's insane.
He's nuts, yeah.
But he was very nice. You know, very nice. Speaking to everybody, having conversations, not doing anything crazy. You know, nice, normal person.
He's just a devil, isn't it?
Yeah. Because you know, he might have bipolar or these other issues, but in that setting where I saw him, I didn't see none of them. That's it.
But if you deep it though, Rich, how many people do you think have got mental health issues that are just undiagnosed?
Loads.
But because it's not, because it's surface level, or it isn't too like manic. How many people are walking around and, you know, they have got mental health issues, and like you said, they don't realize it. But imagine if you've got a little twinge of any mental health and you've got cameras in your face all the time, like the paparazzi don't leave you alone. It's going to magnify it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Good business.
Yeah, but for who?
Here to click.
Do you know what I mean? But anyway, so heavyweight division then, that's where you've got your eyes. When you look at the heavyweight division, obviously there's going to be some people that are going to be falling off the other side. It's like a conveyor belt, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you go along a certain, and then you drop off, whether you retire or whatever, quit, retire, whatever you do. How do you see it coming through when you're going in there with the heavyweights that we've got at the moment? Because we've got quite a few young, fresh, young bloods that are coming in. Obviously, Fraser's, you're in the gym with Fraser, he's one of them, you know, Olympian. And there's a few, you got Fabio Wardley, Nathan Gorman. There's a few British ones. I mean, what are your thoughts on them and
Yeah, they're great
your performance?
Fraser is amazing. Obviously, I'm a stablemate. I won't talk about fighting.
Yeah, no, exclude him.
I even like Fabio as well. It was pretty close at one time as well.
Really?
Coming up, doing a lot of sparring together.
Okay.
And yeah, but apart from that, you know, I can only speak for myself. I know what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
Speed, power, footwork, understanding of the ring and boxing. It will be, trust me, I'll be a serious issue for any of them, like seriously.
What weight do you think you'll get to? Did you say 210? Because what are you?
That's too light. I'll get.
What would you get up to comfortably?
220. I think that's it. I don't need to be heavy. I'm not trying to be heavy like Tyson Fury. It's like leaning on people. I don't need to do that. I smoke them, just moving around, intelligent and landing, hit. I'm not getting hit. Just nice and simple. Simple boxing. I don't need to do all this laying around, trying to mold them. Tyson Fury is serious. He's really good at that. You know, just
squeeze the life out of you, innit?
See what he did with Deontay.
Yeah, but Deontay stood in there.
He's obviously Tyson Fury's quite smart. He's using what he has, and I know what I have, and I would also use that too.
How do you evade someone that likes to squeeze the life out of you then? Somebody that likes to pin you down, because Deontay Wilder is fairly athletic. He's not a heavyweight either, is he?
He is athletic, but the way he boxed was different. Like, you know, boxing against somebody like Tyson Fury, if I was in his camp, I would have made him move a lot.
Just keep moving.
Yeah, throughout the 12 rounds. So every time he's training, it's like hit, move, hit, move.
Yeah.
Never in one place. Something similar to like David Haye when he fought Valuev.
Oh, yes.
On the move all the time. Bam, 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 laying shots. Move, ducking, making it kind of impossible. You know, because someone like Fury, you can see that he could take the shot and absorb it, then he'll come back. So you have to be very careful, agile, you know, when you're boxing it. But, you know, easier said than done. But I feel like that would have been better. That would have been a better performance instead of like Wilder plodding along and just fighting this guy off the cuff. He would still had the power and probably done more damage if he's moving and strikes.
Yeah, because like I said to you off camera, and I'll blatantly say it now. Forgive me. I didn't credit Wilder as much as I should have done with the fights that he had with Tyson Fury until I saw the fight with Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury. Do you know what I mean? Deontay Wilder really did go out on his shield. No matter how it ended, whatever, he still went out on his shield. He fought to the death, to his own detriment. Do you know what I mean? And that you have to rate. And sometimes as a boxing fan, I'll openly admit it, sometimes we're a bit ignorant like that, and we really don't appreciate what the fighters do. We don't. We're sitting back and we're looking one-sided more time of what's going on, and we don't really appreciate, you know, the fighters. Because I'll stand here. I wasn't a Deontay Wilder fan. I didn't admire his style. I think that he relied too much on power rather than using the boxing skill that he demonstrates in sparring, because we've seen that he can box, but we never really saw that on camera. But then when I saw the fight with Dillian and Fury, and obviously Dillian lost, I thought, damn, Wilder didn't do too bad, you know. Even though he lost, he still didn't do too bad.
Yeah, he did really well, man. He went against the grain. He was solid guy.
What do you think about the Joel Joyce, Joseph Parker fight coming up? Since we're talking about heavyweights.
think that's an interesting fight. Parker, he's he's powerful, elusive. You know, he's going to definitely come to fight, but at the same time, the juggernaut is just
He's not
he
getting
made
off your neck.
it's that's good. That's great for TV. That's great for boxing.
I think it is.
I don't know who will win that fight.
I think it's a fight that's probably going under the radar, and it should get a little bit more credit because the thing is with Joe Joyce, he just doesn't go away.
Yeah, he always
He doesn't go away.
He takes a shot and then he's coming back. Which I think that'll be good.
It's going to be a tough one. Yeah. But listen, it's been good. Taking up a lot of your time today. Yeah, was it worth it though?
That's why I need to ask you, was it?
No, it's me coming to you, taking up your time. But yeah, it's always enjoyable speaking to you. I like talking boxing with you because we can break it down quite good. I think what the viewers don't understand is that we speak about boxing off camera a lot, and we'll break down like the technique side of stuff. So it's nice to actually sit down and just have this convo. I was hoping to try and like pull some fight news when you're fighting and who you're fighting, but we'll find out in due course.
All will be revealed soon, very soon.
Very soon. And you're going to be at the Clarissa Shield, Savannah Marshall.
Yeah, I'll be there.
At the yeah, that's going to be
supporting the women.
Yeah,
their thing.
It's good, isn't it? All female, the first ever all female card. That is nuts.
History.
It is 2022, and imagine all of those females that fought like ages ago and never will have this. And it's 2022. This is happening courtesy of Sky Sports Boxer, your platform. So yeah, till the next time.
Respect.
Hi, and thank you for watching October Red Boxing. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications. You can also find us on Instagram at October Red Boxing and on Twitter, October Red UK. And remember, at October Red, we stay ready.